US and China conflict a real threat to markets, Bloomberg citing hedge fund preparing for worst. NTV4X.com News ID 18814700055 GMT by Ross J. Berland. Bloomberg elaborates on the earlier headlines pertaining to the senior US NBSP and Chinese officials NBSP planning to assess the nationsâ trade agreement this month. The article notes the ising tensions between the countries and details how the NBSP rise of a new superpower like China threatens US NBSP dominance, which could NBSP lead to conflict. Lead paragraphs. The discussion on the so-called Phase 1 deal, led by US NBSP Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer and Chinese Vice Premier Liu He, would take place on or around August 15, 6 months after the agreement took effect, as directed in the text of the accord, the People said. The White House declined to comment, and the U.S. Trade Representative's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The planned talks were reported earlier Tuesday by the Wall Street Journal. Key notes: President Donald Trump has said repeatedly in recent weeks that the deal is not as important to him as before because of what he called China's role in the spread of the coronavirus. After this happened, I don't feel the same about the deal, Trump said in a Fox Business interview Tuesday. Beijing has fallen far behind its purchases commitments on agriculture and energy products. NBSP Trump has threatened to ban Chinese music video app TikTok from the U.S. market unless an American company buys it by September 15. Microsoft is in talks with the U.S. government to address perceived national security issues in the purchase of the company. Possibility of an armed clash between the U.S. NBSP and China. One Singaporean hedge fund is preparing for another dire event: the possibility of an armed clash between the U.S. and China. The article continues. In the lead-up to November's U.S. presidential election, APS Asset Management Pte. is increasing allocations to the relative safety of cash, along with stocks that would weather an outbreak of hostilities, said founder and chief investment officer Kok Hoi Wong. Recent tit-for-tat consulate closures were merely the opening salvo, and there is a chance that political posturing during the election campaign could peak with American forces triggering an altercation in the South China Sea, Wong said, without elaborating on how he sees that occurring. Market implications: if there is some form of military conflict, it will not be a full-blown war but an isolated, small-scale conflict, said Wong, whose firm manages about $2.5 billion. But markets will panic and crash, so we don't want to position our portfolio too bullishly or aggressively. Indeed, war is a threat to equities and risk on FX such as the Australian dollar, which is in a phase of constructing a RHS of a bearish daily head and shoulders pattern. This week's AUD analysis: NBSP. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me/mt5.expert.advisors.